let me offer a definition for the West, and you don't have to agree with it. The West is a family of nations, and it's a particular family of nations. It's those nations that inherited the Bible. Now, you can add all sorts of things. Most of these nations inherited Greek and Roman thought, and all sorts. You can say all sorts of things, but the one thing that distinguishes the West from everything else in the world, I think, is that these are the lands that inherited the Bible and that were shaped by the Bible for 2,000 years. And the Bible contributes all sorts of things. People usually think about the theology or the morals, but among other things, the Bible also contributes a view of political life, of the political world, which other civilizations don't have. Islam, there are many great things about Islamic civilization, but Islam did not have the Bible. And if you want to understand at least a central pillar of what is it to be Western, it's to inherit from the Bible a view of the world as divided into nations. God creates the world divided into nations. That's our tradition. And so there is a seesaw in the Western tradition between thinking, well, let's just unify the whole West under one empire. That's sort of the Roman part. And that seesaw, the other side of the seesaw is let's allow each of these nations its own freedom to pursue its own way to God and its own way to live. Now, obviously, this leads directly to the question that Marion asked, which is, you look at the last century and you see, well, we tried dividing, the world into different nations, and some nations decided that they would use the power that they had in order to go and conquer everybody else. And isn't that a problem? And of course, it's a very big problem. I think that the answer to the question is, and you'll have to we'll have to argue it out. I think that the answer to the question, why is nationalism, which is originally a biblical worldview that says the world would be governed best if it were divided up into nations and each nation would be allowed the freedom to pursue its own way to God. Right? This goes all the way back to God, creator of heaven and earth, gives to Moses a law for all of mankind, and then in that law there's a provision that says, but you're not allowed to conquer your neighbors. It's in the book of Deuteronomy. You're not allowed to. They have their own ways, they have their own land. So that biblical thought that there's a universal God, but nations are many. God is one, but we're plural. That thought, that's the foundation for what I see is the positive European Christian idea of national independence.